Thank you for staying with us. The last is yet to be heard about the terrorist attack on Kuje Custodial Centre on the 5th of July. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said 65 security operatives were on guard at the correctional facility in Kuje on that fateful day. Aregbesola said this when he appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Interior. So what went wrong? Olayinka, let me start from you. 65 security operatives were on guard, and they were overwhelmed, and they had a field day. Some people just described that Kuje prison attack as, audacious, because we're told that people that saw the video said that not that they only ran into, the facility to set a prisoner free. What they did there, they went there, they had to even preach to them before setting them free. And they made sure they did a clean job by setting free 640 of their own and the entire criminal in this facility. Now, if they were 65 operatives, guarding that facility, what could have happened?
Well,
nobody died.
Well, you could have said that they said there were 300 of such bandits or the terrorists who came. So 300
would have overwhelmed 65.
Will easily overwhelm 65.
And nobody died.
Well, but one thing I want us to even take note specifically that the minister said, he said heavily armed 65 security men. He used that word, heavily armed. And the question is, if they were really heavily armed,
how come the assailants weren't resisted?
Not one of the assailants, not two, not three, were brought down. So if they were not heavily armed, what would have happened? They would have perhaps brought down the whole custodial house or what? So now, when our public officials are talking to us or talking to the public, they should also credit Nigerians with some sense of modesty or some sense of being able to judge things. If you say that 65 heavily armed men, so to what end? We are not even interested in whether they are heavily armed or 65 or 1 or 2. Okay, this has happened. How many months ago or how many weeks ago? Those who are responsible for the security of this custodial center, what has happened to them? Have they been silently punished? Or they have been silently left off the hook? And you see, the problem with us is that the moment you don't punish people who drop the balls, it will continue to happen. And that is exactly where we are today. I would have expected that by now, the day the minister, yesterday when the minister met the members of the House of Representatives Committee, he will have been able to tell them that Mr. So and so were on duty on that day, and this is what has happened to them. Whether on suspension, whether under probe, or whether on whatever. But what do we have? Nothing. Nothing has been heard, nothing has been said, and up till now, all of them are still sitting pretty well on their seats. We saw a glimmer of hope in Lagos yesterday when the Commissioner for Physical Planning decided to throw in the towel. You might say that, what does that mean? But you see, in all darkness, you celebrate the little light that you have. Whatever it is, whether it was forced or out of his own volition, but we've got somebody who has thought it fit that, look, this thing happened under my watch, and this is what I've done. So coming back to what we are talking about now, who are the officials that supervise these 65 heavily armed security men? What has happened to them?
Okay, let me pause it there, Nyika. Olabisi, what we are looking at here is those people that were set free. Yes, they've been apprehending them one by one, but when you look at the number of people that are set to be free, dangerous criminals, and these guys, some of them terrorist leaders that have been in that facility since 2010, 2011, 2012, are waiting trial. And you have this kind of situation, and these guys, they're on the rampage across the country now. With the wave of violence across the country, we can't put it behind them that these guys might have gone back to where they were before they were apprehended.
Yeah, definitely they would have, and there are evidence of that. After all, even the victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train alluded to that much. There was a video where they told us that some of them, after they were released, told us that after that Kuje prison attack, that when they came back to the camp, they were unusually happy. I mean, their abductors were unusually happy, and they were rejoicing over the freedom of their mates from Kuje prison. So which means that some of these people apparently have gone to this terrorist group, and the ones that are not terrorists, maybe hardened criminals, probably in prison for armed robbery, murder, and many other serious cases, must have also returned back to their crime, which endangers the entire society as a whole. However, I still want to go back to the statements of the minister about the heavily harmed 65 security operatives at that prison at that particular point in time. I think Minister Aregbesola hid from the public the most important information that people would like to know, because he told the Senate committee that he would not want to talk about the kind of arms that these people were carrying because of media presence, and that he will disclose it to the committee members secretly. That is the most important information that the public wants to know, because heavily harmed is a relative term. Heavily harmed is a relative term. In the eyes of the minister, these people could have been heavily harmed, but compared with the harms that the enemies, the terrorists, carried, their heavy ammunition could be something like nothing. So that is the most important information that we needed to know, because we need to know how the investments, all the huge investments into procurement of arms and ammunition, into security, we need to know how this money is being spent. What kind of arms do these people have? Remember that 4 prisoners were killed during that attack, and one of the prison guards was also killed. And there is no mention of any of these bandits or terrorists, whatever we want to call them. There is even no mention that one of them is even injured in the leg. None of them was even gone. Not that they even killed them.
Maybe the next day you just see dead bodies.
At least let us see 2 dead bodies. Let us even see that at least you tried.
65 of the heavily armed people resisted.
Even if it is not heavily harmed, even if it is ordinary gun that they even carry, if they were armed at all, even if it is cutlass, even if it is cutlass, and they are committed to the security, at least you would have expected that one of those terrorists, even if it is one that 65 of them say, okay, we want to prove that we are doing our work. So it's not a joke. You get what I'm trying to say, because that is quite embarrassing. And I don't also think that the minister's explanation reduced in any way the seriousness and of that particular attack or situation.
So finally, when we look at it, the days ahead, this should not just be, the normal event that will occur in Nigeria, that after another event, it will be swept under the carpet. Nigerians desire to know how the Federal Capital Territory security was actually breached, and a facility like Kuje Prison, where did these people come from, and how were they able to access the place, and when they were escaping, how were they able to escape?
If not for the appearance of the minister at the National Assembly now to the committee, we have almost forgotten it happened. Because in Nigeria, it's like a book we read in the secondary school, 1 week, 1 trouble. Something happens today, another week, another thing happens, and then, so they pile up and you forget. Now, we must continue to emphasize the need that anyone that drops the ball must face the music. Up till this moment and up till tomorrow, we are still not going to be able to pinpoint that this was what happened, these and these were the people, or these and these were the security breaches that we observed, and what have we done or what are we going to do to correct it? And again, that means it is going to happen again. We pray it doesn't happen, but prayers without work doesn't go anywhere.